I think some of my best memories ever happened in 2016. And I think that's the same for many people, because 2016 was a year that took the entire world by surprise. All done by one singular game. A game whose community is slowly crumbling. A game that I've spent years of my life on, just to see the developers destroy it in various ways. Let's go back in time to the beginning and take a look at the downfall of the biggest mobile game ever, Pokémon GO. The summer of 2016 was the time to be alive. People all over the world came together to play this simple mobile game where you go around your neighborhood to catch weird rats and birds. The same goes for me. I wasn't allowed to go hunting by myself, so I went with my mother and had a great time. Such a great time, in fact, that I decided to keep playing even after the game lost a lot of its popularity, though it kept a sizable and dedicated audience. But let's take a step back, because the release didn't go without its issues. Niantic, the developers, didn't expect this explosion, and their servers had a lot of issues. The game's release was plagued with constant crashes. There was also a serious lack of content. The main way to keep you engaged were regional Pokémon that could only be caught in certain places on Earth, which is something that I especially hated and still hate to this day. People dropped the game quite fast, and it looked like the game had already fallen into irrelevancy. Until Niantic released a special event to celebrate Halloween. This event will be the first of many. Rare Pokémon were spawning everywhere and with boosts. The game saw a tiny boost in popularity again, but it wasn't quite enough, and same with future events. No, what Pokémon GO needed was so stupidly simple that I imagine Niantic slapping themselves in the face when realizing this. What Pokémon GO needed were Pokémon. And so they released a brand new generation of Pokémon into the game, and the game spiked in popularity again. Lots of people came back to experience that same feeling they had in 2016, because this update wasn't released until February of 2017. Following this, new features came rolling in, with the release of shiny Pokémon, which are special versions of Pokémon with a different color palette. Raids were also released, and the first in-person event called Go Fest. That last one though ended up doing more damage to the game than anything else, due to the insane server issues. You'd think Niantic had learned from their 2016 mistakes, but it became apparent that this wasn't the case at all. A lot of people quit the game after this, and it took a long time before the game saw another big boost in popularity after this. 2018 and 19 were actually pretty good years for Pokémon GO, though a lot of it was used to rebuild the game and a community rather than expand them. This first part was to prove that Niantic has a history of under-delivering and taking an awful long time with fixing issues. 2020 was up next, and things looked great until it happened. A global pandemic ruined the entire thing Pokémon GO was built on, going outside and meeting other people. But unlike Minecraft Earth, Niantic faced the challenge head-on and did a great job at keeping the game interesting during this period. But, spoiler alert, some of these things ended up blowing up in their face. They released remote raid passes, which allowed you to participate in raids from a distance. This immediately became the new meta. Another fan favorite feature was the Pokéstop distance getting doubled, which meant that you don't have to be as close to them in order to reach them. Things like instances and lures stayed for longer and became way more effective. Eggs hatched faster, and they released various ways to get items without having to even reach a Pokéstop in the first place. These were all huge things, but the community became a little more reliant on these features than Niantic anticipated. Because after a lot of pandemic problems, things started to die down a bit, and Niantic announced that they were going to stop all of these boosts now that people could go outside again. They did say that these changes were temporary, but the community grew and became more connected than ever because of these features. Also, not everywhere in the world could people safely go outside already, meaning this was extremely insensitive by Niantic. These features also made it possible for kids, busy adults, people with disabilities, and just people that couldn't go outside or hunt on their own in general to play the game without any issues. Pokemon fans were furious, and for good reason, and started protesting on Twitter using the hashtag #HeroesNiantic. Niantic ended up listening though and announced that the features would stay for a little longer. This was good, but people were getting skeptical, and a lot of people, myself included, never fully trusted Niantic again after this controversy. A first controversy of many more to come. This is the point when it started to feel like Niantic was actively trying to screw over the community, mostly by releasing more and more Pokemon behind paywalls, using raids, eggs and special research quests, and those could become very expensive just to get one new Pokemon. And then came the dreaded day. Niantic tried to do it sneaky but fell flat on their face when announcing redacting the pandemic bonuses once again. The community again wasn't quiet about it and were once again protesting on Twitter and YouTube. For someone who hasn't experienced this, it probably feels stupid to get angry about something this simple, but in reality the game was way better in every single way with these bonuses. This wasn't just for the community's convenience or something. Niantic, this time, compromised by keeping some bonuses and rotating others during certain events. This wasn't exactly what everyone wanted, but at least Niantic listened. They also said some interesting things. They would keep in touch with certain big names in the community so they wouldn't lose touch with their fans. And they would release a monthly diary detailing new updates, events and changes they were working on. It seems like something good, but let me tell you what, that didn't stay for long. Because soon after came the change that, in my opinion, killed the game off completely. Niantic decided that it would be a good idea to put a limit on remote raid passes, 5 max a day, which is the item that basically the entire game depended on, by the way. Not only that, but they would double the price of remote raid passes in the shop. That developer diary and communication with the community just completely stopped. It looked like Niantic just had enough of the community and just wanted to get as much money out of the game before it would die. They were once again livid and started protesting online, only this time Niantic would never acknowledge them a single time. When people realized this, many just quit the game. And others are still trying to fight, but with not nearly as much support. Pokémon GO is now being plagued with horrible events, and a lot of wrong information coming out about these events as well. Almost all new updates are bad or completely broken at launch, and events became more focused on spending your hard-earned cash than ever before. Almost anything that was even remotely interesting is locked behind a paywall, and that's why the game plummeted in popularity. So, this just leaves one question, right? Why? Why would they ever do this? The game still had so much potential, and they just destroyed it. Because why not? The reasoning was always the same. We want to encourage people to go outside and be healthy and play with other people, which is so stupid because there are no people left playing your fucking game. This vision overall is fine, but they actively make the game worse by sticking with said vision so much. The game is in the worst place it has ever been in, and it shows in the revenue as well, which is seeing huge drops. This is all Niantic's fault. So that's the story on how Niantic willingly made a game with a dedicated player base completely collapse. I've also quit the game already. If you want to see how the game is doing right now, you should look at Twitter and see how bad it really is. Oh man, it really sucks to see a game I love and have been playing for so long just get completely destroyed by out-of-touch developers. Honestly, if you had like a tier list with the worst developers, I would put Activision Blizzard as an S, but Niantic would be like a high B, maybe even an A. They are also desperately trying to find success with a new game. They had their Pikmin augmented reality game that immediately everyone forgot about. And they had like this Monster Hunter game, which I also completely forgot about until just now when I looked it up. There have also been unexplained ban waves, which is something that has been happening for like a few months now, I think. People are just getting banned for nothing for like 30 days, which is so stupid. I can only remember one other ban wave in Pokemon GO's history, which was for spoofing, which is a cheat where you put your location somewhere where you aren't actually, so you can play Pokemon GO over there without being there. It's like good to catch those regional Pokemons you can only catch in certain locations, or participate in events where more people are, that sort of thing. But now people are just getting banned for absolutely nothing. And that really sucks. I loved this game, and a friend of mine that I always played with also loved this game, and my mother also loved this game. And we've all quit the game because Niantic is such fucking losers. They're actual fucking losers. I'm gonna say this directly to Niantic's face. Niantic, fuck you. Fuck you. I've spent money on your stupid fucking game, and now you're just destroying it for a quick buck, even though you could have made way more if you just kept it alive. Fuck you guys. I hate all of you. Yeah, and that's about it. But thanks for watching.